Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Taylor. If you don't know me, now you know. It's been a long time since you saw me, so hi, hello, how are you doing? I'm currently still up at school. I'm in my active room right now. I decided that I'm going to do 2 movie reviews. This is part 1, and it's gonna be for us. Part 2 is gonna be for Captain Marvel. So before we get in the video, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is gonna be popping. Exactly. So, okay, let's go to the excited to see Us. I actually saw it Thursday night, the day of that it came out, and I was super excited to see it because I watched Get Out and I loved that movie, and Jordan Peele is like one of my new favorite directors that's like up and coming, and I'm really excited for all the works that he's doing. There's something in my eye. I'm gonna be talking about different types of things, pros and cons from the movie, that from audience perspective and from an actor's perspective. First things first, I loved the different levels of character dynamics in the movie. I really liked that they showed a Black family, because not only that, they showed an African-American family that's darker than my skin tone, which you don't see a lot of, and if you do, then they're usually affiliated with guns and violence and just a stereotypical ghetto type of African-American person, and they present that persona. This is one of the few of like the newer movies. Obviously, I mean, we could say like Black Panther is like another movie too, that's great and everything, but a lot of times growing up, a lot of the movies that had African American people in them unfortunately broadcasted African American men as thugs and like gangsters and like do no goods and everything like that, and they broadcasted African American women as like ghetto, always talking and singing and everything like that. Now, I'm not degrading people that do that. I'm just saying that there's different characteristics, different personalities, different people, and different levels of socioeconomic statuses that they can portray in the African American community, and that they shouldn't limit displaying those different type of socioeconomic statuses just to those of a fairer skin tone. On the side of a fairer skin tone too, I also liked how they portrayed all shades of African American, because also for a long time it was just either my shade, if not way lighter. There's rare times that we see African-American people of the darker shade portrayed in TV and movies. So props to you, Jordan Peele, for doing that and casting people of the darker shade, because they should have a voice too, and they should be able to be seen, heard, and given the same experiences as those of a lighter complexion. So next up, I want to talk about the costuming and setting of the movie. I really like the costuming is very simple. It didn't really like add to the characters all that much. Like for Black Panther, for instance, like costuming was a big part of the production, whereas in this one, it wasn't quite so. It didn't really add to the complexity of the characters. Thriller t-shirt that the little girl wore as well, I thought that was really cool. It made me, if you ever watched the Thriller video, like you should definitely watch it, because he portrays in a way like the Thriller video, because in the Thriller video with Michael Jackson, and I know that's kind of like a touchy subject right now, in the video with Michael Jackson, he's out on a date with a girl, and then something happens where like zombies start coming out from all the woodworks and everything like that, and they're trying to run away, and the girl's like running, and so then she runs into the house, and so then, you know, you have the whole sequence of like the Thriller dance moves and everything like that. And at the very end, he runs in the house to try to save her. Last clip is showing Michael Jackson as the zombie character. So the whole time he was like portraying like a normal human being, but then he was really a zombie. And then when he went to go save her, he was portraying like, oh, the normal human being and everything. But then in the last clip, we realized that he's actually a zombie, which caters to the whole movie of Us. So I really liked how they portrayed the 2 different versions of each character, like the tethered people. So then if you're confused about the story plotline, basically it was said by Red, who is the underground version of Adelaide, who's played by Lupita Nyong'o, that the government did a social experiment where they made copies of every single person living on Earth, and then they were able to copy in everyone and everything. So they first started out with bunnies, and then after they started out with bunnies, they realized, like, okay, this is working, like let's actually copy human beings. Why? Never answered. Don't find out. Hopefully there's a segment about why they decided to copy every human being, because the planet is already overpopulated as it is. But Anyway, I digress. So they copied every human being, but then the thing that was like the triggering thing was the fact that it was actually the souls weren't able to be copied. So that's why they're all like creepy and everything, because like their souls weren't actually able to be copied, just like everything about them minus that. In the movie, we see Red and Adelaide, they actually meet while they're in a funhouse mirror area. So in this one, in the first clip that we see, we think that Adelaide, who's the normal human being, runs into Red, who is the doppelganger, and she freaks out and everything like that, and she's so traumatized from seeing someone that looks like her that like she just stopped speaking for a couple of years. But then that's not the case. We see in a later scene that Adelaide and Red actually switch because Red chokes her and she passes out, and then she brings her down to like the underworld, and she like locks her up via handcuffs, and then she takes on the place as her. But then, okay, follow me on this. The reason why Adelaide, technically, when we first saw her, did not speak when her parents found her is because Red and that whole doppelgang underground area, they don't speak. So she did not know how to speak. So that's why she didn't speak during that time, because but then during that time her parents thought that she was so scared for those 15 minutes that she was lost, that that's why it shocked her into like just not speaking for a couple years, when in reality it was Red that was now in that position, and Red did not know how to speak because she never learned how to speak. So right now Red, okay, it's kind of confusing, I know. Red is the person that's underground. Adeline is the person above ground. Red chokes Adeline and takes Adeline's place. So when Adeline's parents find their child, they think it's Adeline, but it's actually Red. And so Red doesn't know how to speak, so then that's why she wasn't speaking for all those years, that they thought that she was just scared, and that's why she didn't want to speak anymore. Fast forward to when adult version of the girl says like, oh, she's after me, she's after me, she's after me. So this whole time we're thinking that it's Adeline that's like freaking out that Red's gonna come after her. But Red and Adeline switch characters. So Red is portraying Adeline's life above ground, and so she's scared that the true Adeline is gonna come after her because she took her life. Are you following me? So when we see Red and Adeline get encountered again, and we're like, why is Red talking like that? Like she like doesn't know how to talk, she doesn't know how to breathe or anything like that. It's because when the true Red choked the true Adeline, she ruptured her vocal cord, and it damaged her vocal cords to the point that that's why she's talking like that. So we don't see that actually they switch characters until like towards the end of the film. So this whole time we're like thinking that the true Red, she's talking like that because they don't talk underneath the ground and everything like that. And then the true Adeline is just like, you know, she got traumatized as a kid, but she's fine, like nothing ever happened. But in reality, the true Adeline, or the Adeline, is the true Red, and the true Red, the whole time the one that we think is Adeline, the adult version, is actually Red, and then vice versa. You following me? So there's that. And then also, so not only did the true Red rupture the true Adeline's vocal cords, but then also the fact that they don't talk at all down below. That's why like she never trained her vocal cords again, so that's why it's like so raspy. Another thing, the true Adeline, who is portrayed as Red, wanted to get revenge, and that's why she started this whole movement of the hands movement. And I was watching this segment, and it was also because during that time they were having a commercial being broadcast nationwide about linking hands and holding hands across America, hands across America. And so he wanted to tie that in and incorporate it as well. And so that's why at the very end they're linking hands and everything, because if you go back to the very beginning, the opening of the beginning, where like we see the TV screen and like the commercial for Hands Across America is playing, it's because that was literally the tether of the underground people to the above ground. That's kind of was a symbolism of them giving hope that someday they will see like see above ground and they will be able to see the sun. It gave them motivation to act out the plan that they had in place for years and years and years, and they've been practicing about it. Second one, the son, Jason, actually realizes that there's something might be off with his mom, or who he thinks is his mom, because of the way that she's acting when she was killing those multiple people that he was there to witness. So when they're in the house for like the next door neighbor slash best friends, she is killing and stabbing someone, and she's growling everything, and then the son is like looking at her like, okay, that's not the mom that I grew up knowing. Like, I never knew she would just, you know, be heartless and just kill them. Granted, like, it was like a bad person, like the person underneath, but like it was something just completely out of character. And so he's like, okay, that's a little weird. Then at the very end, when the true Red, who's playing Adelaide, kills the true Adeline, who is now Red, he's hiding in the closet. And so when she kills her, she like growls and like growls like an animal. And that's her natural instinct, because that's how, if you notice that everyone that was wearing the red jumpsuits, the people that from underground, were growling sounds instead of saying actual words. Her killing basically herself brought out those natural instincts that she had since she started out as being one of them. A next thing that we know is that we see the two Adelines trying to get back their own life. Now, you're like, wait, what? No, like, one of them is, the other one's just trying to, like, you know, get away from the other one. They both have a tether to the actual children that were supposed to be theirs. So if you realize that when the true Adeline that's playing Red, she takes Jason and kidnaps him and everything, it's because that was supposed to be her son. That's why she kidnaps him. And then you see that the true Red that's playing Adeline is yelling at Pluto, who is the doppelganger of the son, and pleading with him to hopefully not go into the fire and the burning car and everything, because that was supposed to be her true son. They both still have a tether to who was supposed to be their true children and their husbands, and so they are doing things out of the act of mother's intuition or something like that. So the true Red slash Adeline is supposed to be like, is like telling him, pleading with him, please don't go in the fire, please don't go in the fire, please stop, like stop. It's because that was her true son that she watched die. True Adelaide, who is portrayed as Red, kidnaps her actual son that's supposed to be her actual son. And Zora drives the car and runs over her doppelganger. The true Red slash the one that's playing Adelaide gets out of the car and tries to help Umbre, who is her true daughter, who is stuck in the tree and doesn't want to watch her die. What's sad about it, I mean, there's a lot of things that's sad about the movie, but what's sad about it is the fact that Umbre doesn't realize that that was supposed to be her true mom. For the names for some of them, Pluto, who is the underground version doppelganger of Jason, who is the son, is Jordan Peele gave Pluto his name because Pluto is a name of the underground underworld lord. For Jason, the son, is wearing a mask, and that pays homage to Jason from Friday the 13th. Zora is a Slavic word for dawn, and Umbre is derived from the Latin word for shadow. Just some of the words and meanings behind like why people were named what they were named. If you want to know more and like about the rest of their names, I will put the link in the bio of the article that I read about the tether names and everything like that, if you want to read up on that. So let's get into the con. I'll be kind of short and sweet with this because it's a long video. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'll try to make it short and sweet. Hopefully with editing and everything like that, like it won't be this long, but hopefully we'll see. Anyway, cons. Couple of things just off the top of my head. I have a lot of questions, and a lot of questions that weren't answered in the film, because there was a lot of ideas that were presented in the film, but not all of them was answered at the end. And it kind of gave me PTSD back to the last season finale, because there was a lot of unanswered questions that still to this day has not been answered, and I'm not okay with it still. Anyway, first things first, why do they have scissors? Why were the scissors gold? Where did they get the red jumpsuits? Why did they decide to have red? No, actually, I know why they decided to have the red jumpsuits is because Hands Across America symbol was a red who was holding hands, cut out humans. Where did they learn how to sew? And if they know how to sew, a soon-to-be trending red jumpsuit. I know these are like on two different spectrums, but another side note that the tethered people, what made them also crazy is the fact that they had to eat bunnies to survive because it was their only source of food. But let's break that down just a little bit. If they found different ways to go above, such as Red was able to go above to meet her doppelganger, why couldn't they find a different source of food as well? Or better yet, a way to cook the meat? They learned how to sew a trend-setting red jumpsuit. Why did they not learn how to cook the bunny meat? Or find different source of food? That's another thing. Also, I felt that I really didn't get to understand the background of the characters because there wasn't a lot of character development for a majority of the characters other than Lupita Nyong'o's character of Adelaide and Red. Because they were, obviously they were like the main people, but like I felt like there wasn't any character development of how they came to be. Like how did Adelaide and her husband get married? Where were they traveling from? Because all we see when we first see them is that Adelaide and her husband and her family are all traveling to Adelaide's childhood home in what appears to be Staten Island, Long Island, something like that. However, we don't see where they're coming from, where they live, like, you know, any friends from their hometown. We just see them going to the childhood home. So I was just a little confused and I wasn't able to have a emotional tether to the characters when they died and everything because I didn't know who they were. So I was just like, okay, like, I mean, I'm not heartless, but it's like, okay, well, why do I care? Like, I don't see a lot of character development for any of the characters, and I don't see any background story for any of the characters other than Adeline, and I would like to know that so that I could better be suited to understand why I should care so much about these characters. Jordan Peele with the coincidences such as 11:11. We see like the homeless guy was like he had Jeremiah 11:11 on there. Is a Bible verse which states, "I will bring on disaster that they cannot escape, and although they cry out to me, I will not listen to them." The homeless guy when we see little Adelaide go and like run off and like, you know, be a bad child, and then we see him again when they're older and he's still alive, and then we see him again when he died, and then we see the doppelganger tethered version of him at the very end. And Jason went to go use the restroom and he saw like what looked like a scarecrow on the beach. It was the homeless guy with Jeremiah 11:11 written on his forehead, and he was the first person. Why he looked like a scarecrow was because he was the first person to start the chain. That Jason saw when he went to the bathroom, and then now we realize that it's the homeless guy, well, the doppelganger of the homeless guy. Another time with like 11:11 is when Adelaide goes to put Jason in bed and everything, and the clock says 11:11. But that's the only time we see it, and that's the only time we see 11:11. So it doesn't make any sense why that is one of the things, because that's one person she saw when like a traumatic event happened to her, and then she sees it again when like she's an adult, but it doesn't see how that ties into Red coming for her, because she kept looking at the coincidence and it's like, oh my gosh, she's coming, she goes 11:11, but it doesn't really flow together. Overall, I thought the movie was good. Was it as good as Get Out? No, because Get Out had many years to be planned and produced. I feel like, and I talked to other people about this too, that because he put out a movie so quickly, and maybe he felt the need to put out a movie so quickly right after Get Out, that it didn't take the necessary times and steps to make sure that it was 100%. And don't get me wrong, it was a very good movie, but there was like those things that I was talking about previously. And then also you have to take into account that with Get Out, there was a lot of years where he put into making it and making sure that it was a clean movie, and in a sense that like anything that was unanswered at the beginning was answered at the end, and we had a clear understanding of like, oh wow, oh shoot, this is what happened. Whereas with us, there's still some questions where it was just so many ideas at the beginning that he didn't get to answer all of them at the end. And I just feel like that was kind of unfortunate, because I still left thinking like, what? And, you know, just still being confused. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was a good movie, but it was just a lot of ideas and just needed to hone it down and have a couple more rough drafts before they put it fully into production. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, you like what you hear and everything like that, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit the like button, please, because that will tell me that I'm going in the right direction with these type of videos. If you like them, then I would produce more of these videos, but if you don't, let me know and I'll stop. Most likely, probably not anyway. But yeah, please make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is going to be popping. The next video will be the Captain America review, which is going to be really quick and probably right after this. And you probably will see me in the same t-shirt in the same area. So without further ado, just go ahead and click somewhere on the screen. There's a over here yonder, we got the subscribe button, and then any video, movie that you want to see here. Somewhere, some of the gist. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey, I'm back real quick. So I just looked it up, and apparently the family was traveling to California, and that's where she's from. I got Staten Island. What part of California is she from? Like, that does not look like the Santa Monica Pier. So another thing I'm confused about.